Hello everyone, and in this tutorial we're going to take a look at how to make maps in Houdini. So this is roughly what we'll make. So I was trying to make procedural maps, which is very complicated, so I gave up on that. And then I was looking for tools that are available that you can use to make maps. So there used to be something called Mapbox, which doesn't work anymore because I think Mapbox blocked side effects, so you can't download Mapbox files anymore. There is something called OSM, which is OpenStreetMaps, but that doesn't allow you to download like very large areas. You have to download like very small areas. There are other ways which are more complex. So I just kind of figured, hey, what if we could download Google Maps, right? And just because I don't want to do terrains and stuff, right? I just want to do, like something that looks like this, like a map with like roadways and water and whatever. But the problem with Google Maps is that Google Maps looks like this, right? So Google Maps has a lot of, unnecessary nonsense on it, and we don't want that. So I found this website called snazzymaps.com. Okay, and Snazzy Maps, it's free. It's free. You just have to register. It allows you to customize your Google Maps and then download it. So that's what we're going to do. So the way it works is come into snazzymaps.com editor. Like when you come here, like this is Snazzy Maps, and then you kind of go to create a style, and then let's go with default and just say apply style. So it will open up the style editor. Now what you can do is like, it's a little slow to react. So if you just click really fast and nothing happens, just give it some time. So if you click on all and I come in here and I do off, and it'll just turn off everything. So that is pretty cool. Now what you can do is I can come to labels and I can turn off all the labels. So all your labels are gone, which is great. And now let's say what I want is, so I picked up this because where is this? This is Jacksonville, I think. I don't know, what is this? Yeah, this is Jacksonville. So my reason for picking Jacksonville was I wanted something that had a lot of waterways and roads. So I didn't want something like, I picked up Paris. This is Paris. Like what I'm seeing here, this is Paris. But the river is really small. So I wanted something that had a big river and like fewer roads because it was just getting very noisy. Okay, so let's turn off all the labels. We don't want anything. And then you can sort of like, turn things on and off. So this is administrative. So you can turn this off. There doesn't seem to be anything administrative here. Like, I think there's supposed to be like buildings and stuff, but yeah, it's just names and places. Then you have landscapes. You can turn off landscapes. So see, it'll just turn off, like all kind of like man-made areas or whatever. And then you have points of interest. So you can turn those on and off, so you can see like you have like little bit of, tiny stuff here and there that you can turn off. And then you have roads. So we can turn off the roads. And then we can turn off transit lines. So if you don't want like railways and stuff, so we can turn that off. We have like one railway line running here. I don't want the transit lines because it's very thin, it's noisy, it doesn't come off very well. So we'll turn that off. And then lastly, you can, turn the water on and off. So you'll just have like this. So let's do one thing. Let's first do the roads. Okay, and we'll export that. And then we'll do the water. So the one thing is you can only do 10 image downloads in a day, okay, which is fine. Okay, like you don't really need much, but you can always do a screenshot, right? You can always just drag a screenshot and that'll work. So it's not like a big deal. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll come to the roads and I'm going to turn off all the labels. Okay, so let's just turn those off. Yeah. And then we'll come to landscape. And what I want to do with landscape is come to the geometry and I'll take the lightness and make it 0. So you'll get this, okay, which looks nice. And then I'll come to the roads and let's take the geometry and we'll get the lightness to 1 and you'll get that. Okay, so this is pretty cool, right? Like, so this is exactly what we want. And then I can just export this. So I'll come here, I'll go to download image. And you can define the size. So I'll make it about, maximum you can go is 1000 by 1000. And then just make it about, we'll do a 3x. So it'll download like a 3000 by 3000 image. And I'll just download that. Give it a few seconds. Yeah, there you go. So it's downloaded. So I've already downloaded about 7 images. So I've only got 3 left. And then I'll come back. So close this. Like you have this tiny little X on top here. So close that. And then let's turn the roads off. And we will, so it takes a few seconds now there you go. And we'll bring back the water. So I'll do on and make sure that there are no labels. So I'll turn that off. Okay, and then I'll take the geometry and I'll get the lightness to 1. So we'll again get like, really bright area. And I can do download image and it's the same size. Like don't pan it around, otherwise it won't match. And then I'll do 3x and we'll download this. Now you can do a bunch of things with this, right? So either like I can do a trace, which is fine. But what I can also do is I can just use this as masks, like that will work as well. So if I just want to do like a 2D map, I can just use this as a mask, like that will work. And let's do one more thing. Let's come up, let's close this. Can we try and make one more thing? Okay, let's keep the water. Let's come to landscape and fill. Yeah, let's try to bring this up a little. Okay, let's turn off the water. That should be fine. We should be able to work something with this. So let's just take the landscape and we'll make it white. No, bad idea. Gamma. Yeah, I don't, hold on. You can also give it a custom color, like you can do that. So let's say if we take the water, no, let's try some. This is not working out. So I might edit this out. Yeah, let's just keep it to hue. Okay, that's not bad. I don't know what to do with this. Like I can take the water and make it black. So this will be a mask. And let's get the lightness to 0. Okay, I can probably do something with this. Landscape, geometry, let's get the saturation to 0. Yeah, I think I can work something with this. That looks nice. And I can work with this. Let's also bring in some of the points of interest. Okay, like we can turn this on and turn that off. Okay, that can work. We'll get something out of it. Okay, like I'll just take the lightness to 1. Okay, let's export this. It's not much, but we'll export this. So I can just do a download image, 3x and download. So we have a nice like 3000 by 3000 image, which is pretty good. Okay. And so these are the ones that I've downloaded already. Okay, like these are screenshots, but then this is what we just downloaded. Like if I just like refresh this, there you go. So this is what we downloaded and I can see it at like 100%. So you get like very clean stuff, so you can just straight up use these as masks and you'll get a good result out of it. So you can do a couple of things out of this. So the one thing you can do is if I take my trace node, let me just duplicate this. Okay, so I can take the trace node and I can come to trace, and if I press R, you'll see it, it will sort of calculate the whole thing and give it to you. There you go. Okay, so we have this. Like if I press W, see it has sort of traced out the whole thing for you, which is pretty nice. Like don't do like holes or anything, it'll really slow down. So that's probably not a good idea. Like we can come to like filters and you have things like we can try to remove borders, which does that. And then you can also try to do whole faces, but that's going to slow it down because it has to like cut out like a lot of things. I've turned it on. Let's see if this works. Apparently not. Are you doing anything? No. So it doesn't, it's not doing anything. Forget it. Okay, so we can use this. And we can also like, let's say if I do Control-C, Control-V, and I can pick up the other one, which was the water. See, so we get this. Let's turn off remove borders. Yeah, see, so you get nice geometry out of it. And you can use this. So even if you want to like, see, you have like, nice geometry that you can use. Okay, so if you just want to do like, let's say if you want to do like, roadways and water and then have them sort of overlap one on top of the other, you can do it with this. It works. Okay, but let's do one thing. Let's not do it here. Okay, we'll do it directly at COP level. So what I'll do is I'll come into COPs. So we'll do like COP network and I'll do R and let's jump in here and we'll make this 2K because our images are about 3000 by 3000. So it's fine to have it 2K. And I can take, let's take a file node and we need to load these up, right? So we'll take Snazzy image 4. I'll do a resample and let's take a ramp. Okay, simply just for the size reference. Okay, we're not going to do anything with it. Just for size reference, let's keep this to mono. And so we have like, this guy. And then I can do the same thing. So let's call this as roads, and we'll do Control C, Control V. And let's bring in so this is water. And let's also bring in the land. And then I can just duplicate this. So Control C, Control V. This goes in there. And that goes in there. Yeah, perfect. So now what I can do is I can just do like we can blend things together. Okay, so I can take let's say I want to do the water first. So I can do a mono to RGB. Right, and I'll pick this here. What I want is, let's say, just to make something fancy. So we come in here, let's make the let's make the water red. Yeah, I think my color is like off somewhere. So yeah, let's make it, something like that. And then I can do a constant. And I can pick up another blend. Right, and I can just say this is the foreground, that is the background, this is RGB, and let's make this like blue, and the road can come in here. So if I click on this, see, there you go. So you can sort of build your own maps then, like, to whatever extent you want, see. And let's try to bring in, actually let's bring in the land first. So I can take this, like what I can do here is there is something, we can try to do something interesting. So there's something called segment by value. Let's see what that does. So what it does is it sort of takes these pieces and gives you like different results. So we can sort of like segment it a bit more. Yeah, I think this is fine. Let's do 4 segments. Yeah, 4 segments should be good. And then I can take you can take a random, or so we can color these, right? So I can just take we can take a random RGB. Like even here, let's say, is there a way to, yeah, okay. Yeah, so what we can also do is like if I just want the black to be black, we can like increase the minimum value. See, so whatever is black sort of disappears. So this is fine. And I can plug this into ID here, and you'll get this. Okay, and just to 0 ID, so like, you don't have any coloring there. So which is kind of, fancy. I think that looks nice. Yeah, let's keep that. And I can just, yeah, let's plug this to foreground. And let's put this into the mask. I don't know what we'll get. Okay, that looks decent enough. That looks weird, but okay. Let's keep it to 3. Oh, that looks nice. I like that. This looks interesting. And then we can do a final blend. And this goes into the background. That comes into the foreground. And the roads come in here. And there you go. So let's make the roads like, I don't know, something bright, right? So let's make it, what can we do? Yeah, let's do HSV. Let's make them yellow. Yeah, I think this is nice. And here, let's do one thing. Let's take an HSV here. We'll do an HSV adjust, and I'll just make it darker. So I'll just take the value shift and make it darker. Yeah, there you go. So this is random, so we can sort of like turn it around and just see what we want. Yeah, that's not bad. So there you go. So you can sort of make, like fancy maps with stuff like this without having to do anything too complicated. Like that was the whole idea here, because I was feeling lazy and I was like, what is the fastest way to make maps? And turns out this probably might be the fastest way to make maps. And as I said, like these are all separate pieces of, like you have like large enough 3K maps. So you can use these as textures, like you can use this as masks or opacity maps in your material, and you can sort of layer them up. And if you want to like show like a map getting split up and things like that, you can do stuff like that as well. That's not a problem. So it gives you a lot of things. You can also do one more thing with this, which I'll just show you here. That gets a little noisy, but I'll just show you what it does. Okay, so what I can do is, let's say if I invert this, if I take the roads and I invert it, and Yeah, there you go. Okay, so what I can do is I can take this and let's do one thing. I'm going to do a dilate road and just sort of expand it a bit. Like make this 0 and just, you know, like not that much, just a little bit. This is probably not a smart idea. Okay, let's do a remap here. And I just want to, you know, like, yeah, let's do that. Okay, so it's like very dark. And now what I can do is I can come in here, I can do something called segment by connectivity. And what it does is it makes like every single thing into like its own little pocket. And you can use this to do colors. Okay, so if I just take this threshold and sort of, you know, like adjust it, or you can offset it. But I can do something like if I do random mono, okay, and I'll put the ID in here. See, you can do this, we'll do 0 negative. Okay, so the roads are gone. And then I can just, you know, like scale it down. So if you want to do like maybe patches of land, you know, that are like overlaid on top, you can do stuff like this. And we can sort of move it around. Yeah, that's not bad. And then you can probably like multiply this on top or something like that. You know, like if, let's say if we do, I'll invert this. Okay, we can work with this. Let's do a multiply. I don't know how this will look. So we can do a multiply here. Okay, I don't know. This is probably not a good idea. Let's just reverse this. Let's lower that. Yeah, and we can, I'll mask it out with the river. So I can mask it out with this. Yeah, see. So, you know, you can do something like that. No, invert it. Invert the river. Yeah, there we go. Okay. So what's happening is like the river remains constant. You know. Or you can color it up and you want to show like different areas to have different blocks. You can mask those things out. So you can do you can do a lot of things with this. And if you want geometry out of it, as I said, like if you take a trace node and if we load it up, you know, so if I just come in here, hold on, let me just duplicate this guy. So it'll take a bit of time to just load up. And what you want to do is, let's say I just want to render this as curves. Okay, so just take a car node and there you go. And then just like if I take a, let me just scale this up a little, you know, so let's scale this to like 3 times. And I can come to miscellaneous, I can say shade open curves and let's do a float. So we'll do an attribute just float and I'll do a width. Yeah, and then just come into set always and just increase the value. Let's do 0.001. Yeah, there you go. See, so you can actually like, so this is renderable, right? So you can just import this directly into Karma and you can render this. So when you want to do like very large scale maps and stuff like that, I'm not talking like importing terrains and stuff because that's a different thing altogether. But if you just want to do like, you know, maps and like stick them somewhere or have them sort of superimposed on your landscape or whatever, then yeah, this is not a bad idea. So yeah, so the website is snazzymaps.com. Yeah, that's pretty much it.